Later this morning, the heads of the largest oil companies in the U.S. will testify before Congress about sky-high gasoline prices. Got leaders from BP, Exxon, Shell, and several others going to respond to questions about the current state of the oil market. Joining us now with a preview, Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, member of the Energy Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigation, and they're going to question the CEOs. I hesitate to, Congresswoman, thanks for coming on. I hesitate to say this, but it reminds me a little bit of Casablanca. Let's round up the usual suspects and you know, ask them what's going on, why are prices so high. But I don't know if anyone really can point to or has evidence or really even believes themselves that there's widespread price gouging. Do you think there is?
Well, along with most other Americans, about 78% think that is the case. And the evidence is in. You know, when we see that the oil companies actually made a decision not to produce anymore, but rather to increase their profits, and with that money to do things like stock buybacks. We heard from 7 oil companies that decided to make about $25 billion in stock buybacks, that they decided to increase the revenue that they send to their investors and to raise the salaries of their CEOs and their top executives. So that's the decision that they made.
As recently as October, one of your counterparts, we love Roe, he comes on the show a lot, he was grilling the Chevron Exxon, another friend of the show, Tim Worth. Are you embarrassed as an American company that your production is going up while European counterparts are going down? And Worth replied, with all due respect, I'm very proud of the company. And then Mr. Khanna pressed on, will you commit right now to matching your European counterparts in reducing the production of oil? So it wasn't until, it hasn't even been a year from where many members of Congress, 26 members of the House, I don't know if you're one of them, voted to try to a bill to ban fracking as well as oil and natural gas exports. Were you one of the 26 House Democrats that voted to ban fracking as well as oil and gas production?
Look, the question is what are the oil companies doing? Yes, I am against fracking. I think it's a real problem.
Did you vote yes on that?
The question is that the oil companies made a decision, rather, in this crisis right now, to raise the cost, to gouge the consumers, in some ways to, just to do what we say in the name of the hearing today is gouged at the gas pump. Big oil in America's paying at the pump. They had an option to do that, to increase their ability right now, not to have to frack, not to have to drill more, but to simply at their ability right now to raise the amount of gas that they put
Congresswoman, we've all seen what has happened to the prices of crude oil around the world, WTI or ICE Brent. And actually, the president has talked about it a lot and said it's nothing we did. It's because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine that sent the oil prices up above $100 a barrel. So if the president can point to what's actually causing it, oil going over 100, why are you saying that it's the oil company? Is it the oil company's fault that we're over 100, or is it, which is it, Russia's fault or the oil company's fault?
What actually happens at the pump is the problem of the oil companies right now. They could be producing more now. Yes, there is a war going on. War profiteering is happening right now. During World War II, when people were really suffering and the economy was suffering and our war effort was suffering, there was an effort to pass legislation, price gouging legislation, to prevent that. And I think that we ought to consider those kinds of things absolutely right now. I have legislation that said that there was price gouging during the pandemic, and I want to extend that past the pandemic. And we are looking at efforts to tell them they could do that right now. They don't have to add to their CEO salaries and their buybacks, as they have made a decision to do. They could produce more oil right now.